platforms. Yes, we are. Bringing up the last of the things I gotta bring up. Pop out. And, yep.
Hooty, hooty, hoot, hoot.
Mockingjay. Didn't even start yet, and yet there you are. What the fuck happened to the chat here? Okay, I can't see that. Oh, god damn it, you gotta do this to me right now. Wrong. I thought I fixed this last time I went live. All right, I'm gonna give this like 3 minutes to figure out. Customize browser docs. Come on, where the hell is the chat? I'm not even gonna finish going live on TikTok without this shit. I'm just gonna cut the fat and just go straight to the how to bring up Twitch chat and OBS. Cause fuck this shit. Okay, this is actually really unhelpful. This is surprisingly unhelpful. You stupid fuck. Okay, that's not what I wanted to start with, so we're just gonna jump into the game. And just... fuck. It's like, sometimes I just want to play games, but then I forget that I like doing this stuff too much, and it's too much of a... and it's just something I don't want to, like, not do. Okay. Chat. Fucking, we're playing Firewatch, Mockingjay, and our goal is to not open up the map or the compass. And I think I can do that pretty easily. I know it's pretty well. I know they lay the land pretty well. God, talking sucks today. Is TikTok getting mad? Do not pay attention to the TikTok ban one bit, Alex. It'll save yourself a lot of trouble on that. There was no point in paying attention to it. Nope, I don't know, and I don't give a fuck. Because the TikTok ban is stupid. If it passes, whatever, we'll move on to another platform. If it doesn't, it's just gonna stay here. I don't care about it. The politics behind the TikTok ban just cannot be trusted, and I will not trust anything until something actually happens. We're gonna special feature our way through this and do the director commentary of playing this game. Because I live to listen to game devs talk about how they make video games. Oh, you live in Canada? Good, nice. You're all good. How's it going, Alex? How's life been treating you? Also, are you the same Alex that is from the Dangle whatever server I just want to make sure I'm not mixing my Alexes up. You see Julia. She's about your age, late 20s, laughing with the well-dressed professors and grad students from nearby CU Boulder. You, Henry, are out drinking with your pals. You approach her. You are drunk. So what's your major? You're pretty. You're pretty. You're pretty, she says coolly. You are not. You are a future hangover. What? You reply confused. Someone should buy you a cheeseburger, she says. She flags down a waiter, and 1 week later, you are Julia's boyfriend. Okay, that's right. Gotcha. I always find it really nice that you always check in on everyone in that server at least once a month. Not a lot of people do that kind of thing. Oh, hell yeah, I got Riz. Henry got all the Riz. Time for director commentary.
Hello there, welcome to the Firewatch audio tour. My name is Rich Summer. I voiced the character Henry, the guy that you're currently controlling with those buttons there. And I'll be chatting with you in a little bit. Thanks for checking it out.
I love this kind of thing. You date for over a year. She drives you absolutely nuts. It's great. And Alex, I think you succeed. I really do. You move in. You share an apartment near the school with a view of the mountains. You drink beers on the deck. You drink beer just about anywhere. Life is good. Julia wants to get a dog. Ah. There's a scruffy, undersized beagle Julia's in love with. She wants to bring it with her class. There's also an intimidating but gentle-eyed German Shepherd. Nothing bad could happen to Julia while walking this dog. It's badass. I personally would pick the beagle because I like cute animals. Bucket's a good dog, and a week later you've totally forgotten about the other one. Julia loves him. You love him too. I do too, Alex. I don't know, I never asked what happened. I know I'm probably never going to get an answer, and that's okay. But, you know, the past is the past, and it was fun. You talk out on the deck. Oh, 1979. It's summer, 9:30 p.m. The heat still radiates off the high desert. What do you think about kids, she asks. Kids? They're not very smart, or good at much. I'm saying if you want to have a couple of idiots. One day, why rush? Don't do what I did. Well, I liked what I did, but you probably should live life more before you have kids. She looks away, out towards the mountains. We have plenty of time, right? Speak for yourself, mister. Don't worry, you assure her. You tell her she has the body of an undergrad. My ovaries didn't get the memo, she says, laughing it off. One day, okay? 6 months later, you get engaged, laying in bed on a Sunday morning.
Hi, I'm Sean Vanneman. I wrote the bulk of 100% of this game.
Hey, I'm Jake Rodkin. I did a lot of level design, UI design, and worked with everyone on the story for Firewatch.
I'm gonna bring the audio, but if I can. Just a bit.
The game has this weird structure that Chris and I talk about in another tape. This is the first thing I wrote, was this opening of the game that jumps between Henry's life and the trip out to the woods. And I used a little product called Twine to do that, which you can download and use. It's just a very simple choose your own adventure tool. The simplest way to program a video game that one can then share with friends and play.
I think we were worried that the team would sort of perceive Henry as a blank slate, as sort of a generic game player protagonist, and we wanted to make sure, or we wanted to get in everyone's mindset, you're playing as a specific guy with a specific life.
Yeah, there's a reason when you play video games that a lot of your protagonists have amnesia, because it's really difficult when you're driving a character around who knows things about their life, or his or her life, that you, who you ostensibly are that person, don't know. So, yeah, we kept trying to write an opening of the game that happened sort of like weeks into Henry's experience, and then quickly realized that it was like, well, why would he not be able to say X? Well, because his relationship
Sorry, I really do need to change those commands. I really need to fix all that stuff.
with his wife is Y. So, but the player doesn't know that. And this was the quickest
That's for a day when I decide to ever take streaming seriously again.
way to get everybody on board, was to just take the thing that I wrote that answered the question, I think, for Jane and you at the beginning, which was like, who is Henry? And I would write these character profiles that were really bad. And then I went, what if I just let you play a thing? And then you can figure out who he is. And we held on to that until we had the idea to put into the game.
It means that when you're playing Firewatch and Henry and Delilah start talking about Henry's wife, you don't have to learn it through his dialogue, because you made the choices that brought him where he is today.
Smart design. Yeah, I do remember your name from back in those days, Lamberto. Okay, I thought so. Huh. How's it been? No fireworks. Yeah, isn't there like a sign that says that like that shows like how dangerous fire danger is right now? Or that might be later. Learn to live with bears. It's a Thursday night, and Julia is 4 hours late. She doesn't call. You're worried and getting angrier by the minute. She walks in after you've gone to bed. She's not quite drunk, but she's clearly been having a fun time. You fight when she gets between the sheets. You get mad. You ignore her. I feel like the smart thing would be to do, like, while she's still maybe not quite drunk, save it for the next day. That's what I would think. You don't touch each other all night. The next day you feel guilty for being so angry and ask her about her evening. She says it was great. You hold on to a tiny pill of resentment. You make some coffee and go to work. Oh yeah, those were back in the pandemic days, weren't they? Julie still likes to draw. She draws plants from her research. She draws all the places you go. She draws you. Frolic like a Victoria's Secret model. She was right. You are very pretty. Writing Gallback. And I myself, Lamberto, have had lots of ups and downs, but I'm hanging in there.
Hi, it's Jake again.
Hey, I'm Chris Remo.
Oh, hey, Chris.
Hi there. I was a game designer and the music composer on Firewatch.
Nice.
Oh, well, if you
So
insist,
you're
Alex.
hearing now the first piece of interactive music that went into Firewatch. The first piece of music that actually...
Responds to what you're
Breathing.
doing in the game.
Exactly, yeah. So this is a piece of music that's divided into technically 6 parts.
By the way, I love interactive music like this.
And what's happening is as you're playing through this introductory sequence, when you hit certain points in the narrative, it sends a signal to Wise, which is the name of the audio middleware we're using. And then when Wise gets that signal, it waits until the next sort of musically appropriate transition point. And then when it hits that, it smoothly transitions into the next section of music. And so it creates the effect that you're just listening to one big long piece of music that just happens to be timed very nicely
It just
to your
happens.
playthrough.
It just happens to get sadder and sadder at the exact rate that your life gets sadder and sadder.
Yeah, exactly. This was a challenging process, both because I had no idea what the music should sound like, and also because it was the first interactive music in the game. So the technical sort of just how does this work was also a part of it. But as it turned out, this music was changed. I mean, Jake, you may remember this. This music changed relatively little over the course of development
Yeah,
in comparison to a lot of.
I think
other music.
it started off as maybe 3 pieces, and it
McDonald's coffee. Well, first of all, what the hell is that spastic emote that you keep using? Don't know why, but I like it. And no, it's a quick drip coffee. But I did have McDonald's coffee twice today. So. Thank you, Lamberto. I've lost like 90 pounds in this last year. all depression related, but damn, a win is a win, and I'm gonna fucking take it. Although I do look very bald from this angle, but hopefully when I get more hair, it gets better. Still, bitch, get your own, damn it.
Not the 5 over development, but other than that, it's one of the.
You don't want mine, by the way. I made this very plain with just half and half and sweet and low sugar. And thank you. I like the hairstyle.
Dropped in.
Makes me feel more like me.
Ready to hear about that a lot on this commentary.
During the summers, you and Julia enjoy walking Bucket at night. There's a festival in town. It brings in folks from faraway places. One of them tries to mug you with a knife. Bucket gets kicked. Ba bee ba fuck dog. Julia yells. She gets flustered and has trouble speaking when she is stressed. You confront the attacker. You scare him away. You beat his goddamn face in. Yeah, that's exactly what I'll do. Your arm gets cut up, but you beat the guy to a pulp. You don't feel very tough. You cry your eyes out before the cops show up. Julia asks to take a different path that day forward. You say okay. You don't want to go that way either. From then on, you walk by the river. Plans to get kids get waylaid by work. Julia gets offered a job at Yale. Yale is in Connecticut, 2,000 miles away. It's a great job, associate department chair. She wants to move. You absolutely do not. Convince her to not take the job. Agree if she commutes back and forth. I never liked either of these answers ever, anytime I play this game. Coffee is coffee. That's a great attitude. Coffee is coffee in the end. It's really rare that I come across coffee that I don't like. And by don't like, I mean, like, just coffee that I can't tolerate. I mean, it's just a magical drink. Convince her not to take the job. You tell her that means you two won't have a family. She says bullshit. She's totally right. She asks if her taking the job means you won't come with her. And you say yes. Again, bullshit. But she decides not to take it. This is not new to Firewatch. This is just the intro, how the intro goes. We played it before, that's awesome. I love this game. Love it so much that I'm going to play it without opening the compass and map. As that's the lead boulder on paid leave having an episode. She lost it on a colleague for borrowing books that were important to her research. She didn't remember she had happily loaned it to him just 2 days prior. She's found crying on the stairwell. You say you say that maybe you guys should talk to someone about it. You make macaroni and drink wine and try to forget about it. Do the right thing. After seeing multiple doctors and having many tests, they are worried Julia might be suffering from early onset dementia. She's 41. You decide to keep it a secret for now. That is so fucked. That's like... At 41, that's like... 6 years... That's like 7 years away from me right now. It's insane. Or 8 years. 8 years, I can't math. 7 years is 40. The graphics and the views are... Exactly. It's just a straight up 10 out of 10 out of 10 everywhere in this game. It's a very comfortable vibe. So pretty. So pretty. Oh, Hayden, that's literally like, it's like next on my list. Like maybe not next, but it's like before the end of this year next on my list that I want to play that. Bucket is getting older. Julia comments that it's kind of nice because he gets in less trouble around the house. A week later, she goes back to the university. Julia's affliction gets worse. She can't remember things in class. Her research is in shambles. She drives her car to the next town over for no particular reason and has to be brought home by the police. She's devastated. She's sent home on permanent medical leave. Some days you get the Julia who calls you a dope and your unborn children little idiots. Other days you get a stranger. She pulls you into bed to make love. After 5 minutes, she goes into a panic, believing her dad is at the door. You tell her family. They are crushed and begin to make trips to and from their home in Australia to visit her. For a while, your friends come by with little things to brighten the day. She gets worse. Oh yeah, it's sad. This game takes you through a range of emotions, Mockingjay. Right, Lamberto? Like, I've just gone through the free roam of this game and just walked around the Shoshone and just had a good time listening to the music in this game. It's just a vibe, and I love it. I really hope this crazy game that Campo Santo has called a release for in 2028. I really hope it comes to fruition, because I want to see this studio make more shit. You spend your days following Julia around the house. You count the seconds between the 2 weekly visits from Daniel, the nurse. He suggests that Julia could live somewhere else. Somewhere with 24-hour care. A home. It sits with you for a couple months. Now, the decision I probably would make, or actually, yeah, he would probably make this one too. You are determined to take care of her by yourself. I love that limbo. Yeah, exactly. I mean, this game is like literally the epitome of what would it be like to just, like, everyone's always said they want to just run off and live in the woods away from society, and this is just a great story-driven narrative of that exact thing that everyone wants to do. It is impossibly hard. The worst is when you get mad at her, when she tries to cook her own food. You can't do anything without her, and she can't do anything without you. When she goes to sleep, you stay up for a few hours, drinking on the deck, watching baseball in the summer, college basketball in the winter, drinking then too. You start going out after you put her to bed. The first time you do it, you worry about her getting up and walking around after you're gone. I never understood the difference. I never noticed the difference between these two, but I did this one most recently last time, so I'm going to try paying attention to what happens if we trust that she sleeps like a rock. You go over to the same bar, boring end of St. Pearl. It's nice over there. You tell Sheila, the bartender, everything. It's a huge wait. You're home in the 1 a.m. a couple nights a week. You look forward to those nights. One night you're stopped at a DUI checkpoint. You blow a .10. You're taken to jail for the night. You consider trying to hide it, but tell your sister-in-law Susan. Those are the same thing. This is all the same stuff. Yep. Those two choices don't matter. Don't make any difference. Julia's parents take the plane from Australia. They can't believe the state your house is in. Then they tell you Julia's coming to live with them. You don't argue. You say you'll visit soon. A few weeks go by. Summer is coming, and you see an ad in the paper for a job. You take it. Oh, no. It's habit, but we're not going to. All right.
I'm Nels Anderson.
I have to find a extra thing.
Was a designer
All right, we can do
and
this.
gameplay programmer on Firewatch.
I am Jane Ing.
This is where I actually have to. This is where I actually have to use my knowledge of the Shoshone to figure out where to go.
In Firewatch.
So you're likely standing at the base of your home away from home. You're home in the wilderness.
Pretty sure
For all
what I want
intents
is
and purposes, more or less, this is basically
this way.
just a real straight up tower like they existed out in the woods, right?
Yeah, I think it is Portland. There's somebody in Portland who was very good about archiving a lot of blueprints about various type of fire lookouts of the state, and we got some, and so that's how we started off building the the lookout tower, just by looking through how they were actually built.
It's slightly taller than a real one, right?
We had to make quite a bit of adjustment because, for example, the stairway you see here, normally fire lookout stairways are not on the outside, but for more interesting gameplay and views for the player, we opted to change that. But ultimately we still wanted the tower to feel like a real tower, so we had to figure stuff like, hey, how does the plumbing actually work? How do they get water? Stuff like that. It actually is very important for a real tower.
And if you go look around the base of the tower, you will actually see a big old plastic cistern.
We are not a survival game of any sort, but it is important to make sure that all that stuff is actually thought out, so the space feels realistic.
Right. You don't want someone playing the game being like, wait a minute, there's no how does this guy drink? How is he not dead?
I do ask those questions. It's important to have some logic to these things.
Normally play video games, I'm
depending on the game that you're making.
Always interested in stuff like, hey, where's the bathroom? So here we have the outhouse, and you can go anywhere. But stuff like water is very important. So in a real fire lookout situation, what they do is they will use a cistern, and they will capture rainwater from the roof, and you will actually see that we actually have a little pipe down from the roof. And we even have what they call a first flush filter being there, which is actually what they use.
That's my favorite kind of filter, really.
Yeah, I had to look up what do they do, because once you go, okay, you collect rainwater from the roof, it won't be all nasty, and then hey, somebody already figured that out on how to collect rainwater. What do you know?
We actually visited a number of different lookout towers as we were researching the game, and it was always very satisfying to see elements of things we saw in the real world and make their way back into the game, and vice versa.
So we also made sure to have a tab here, like a little faucet, where you can actually get water from the cistern.
Yeah, if you click on it, it will play an animation of a hand gripping a knob, and water comes out for 2 seconds.
Which we
Doesn't
just
do
saw.
anything.
Yeah.
But it's there.
I think for a while we actually were thinking should we just let the player turn on the water? Or then what happens if the water just runs out? And then James had a very good idea of just going just make one animation that you turn on the faucet and turn it off immediately, just so that hey, there's water in here and you won't die. That's Henry.
Single most useless animation, but it's there. And it's flavor. I like when games that have flavor elements. There's a flavor element over there that I love to explore when we get to that point.
Hey, it's Chris again.
Oh, it's Jake.
So if you're listening to this right now, it's because you went off the beaten path really early in the game. Obviously, you probably did that because the commentary map told you to. But
you don't need a map to tell you to go here. You could just go here.
We had to. One of the biggest challenges in this game was throughout the entire narrative, keeping in mind that really players can pretty much go anywhere that they've unlocked on the map at any time. And sometimes that's actually really inconvenient for the narrative of the game.
I do wonder
we had to
about
come
one
up with
thing.
a lot of excuses for why you couldn't go to certain places at certain times, or if we couldn't think of an excuse.
Some call it an excuse, others call it a thrilling narrative event.
Right. So, for instance, where you are right now, if you keep walking in that direction, you will sort of cross the river, but then be unable to go any further.
There's a lot of dense underbrush.
And then about halfway through the game, when a big fire happens, that area is burned out, and you can walk past it into Cottonwood Creek and
Pork Pond, etc.
And all those areas. Yeah, it was really, really hard to think of justifications like that weren't completely implausible.
Yep.
And so we actually have relatively few cases of that in the game.
Yeah, if we couldn't come up with a good way to keep a player out of a space, we instead flipped the other direction and went, well, what can we do to support it and make it interesting? On this day, before the story started, not a whole lot, but we thought it was fun to point out that you can wander a lot more of the map than you might even think at the very, very, very start of the game.
Yep, and then especially once you get ropes, that increases a lot more. So just as you get these items that allow you to explore more of the world, we had to face these increasingly complicated and frustrating design challenges of how does the whole game not break all the time now. It was interesting and difficult, but also cool.
Yep. Bye.
In we go. Power.
Hello, Two Forks Tower.
Hello? Whoever this is?
It's Henry, right?
Yeah.
I'm Delilah.
Yeah, that's what the guy said on the phone.
So, what's wrong with you?
Excuse me?
People take this job to get away from something. So, what's wrong?
What's wrong with you?
That's a great idea. Go ahead.
Look, I just hiked for 2 days, so I don't really follow whatever it is you're doing right now.
You take a stab at what's wrong with me.
Fine, then can I sleep forever?
Sure, buddy. Okay, now go ahead.
Rebelling against mom.
Okay, you're probably just rebelling against a mom who wishes you had given her grandkids, by the sound of your voice, at least 15 years ago.
Ouch.
You come out here and it really grinds her gears and you love it. Can I sleep now?
You know, for as many times as I've played this game, and I know I've picked that one before, I still forget what they say sometimes.
Well, she also says I fuck immature men, but in my defense, who wouldn't want a 28-year-old with ambition and energy and some fire in his belly in bed?
Me, I'm going now.
Just a second, now it's my turn.
Okay, good night, bye.
Let's see. I don't know anything about you. I say you got fired from your job and have finally decided to write your novel. That's the sort of bullshit reason you'll find a man out in the woods.
Good night.
Welcome to the job.
You gotta love Delilah. She is as a delight as her name is in her name.
Good morning, Henry. Well, I guess good afternoon. You probably slept like a rock. Anyway, there's still a few hours of daylight to get some work in. I can see you at your desk, so call me when you're ready.
Yes, that was indeed all the prologue, Mockingjay. I forget, were you not around for the first time we played Firewatch? Where's the 5-star hotel you stayed at? I was at a Gaylord Marriott resort. What you would think, but damn, I love it. The dialogue is the number one reason why I love this game so much. With all the branching paths of like what you can say to people, it's great. Also, this fucking texture glitch. Oh my god, I will murder this game. You weren't put on them. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, I was at my on my work conference vacation thing. They put me in a Gaylord Marriott resort. That's where I was for like 4 days.
Hey, sorry, guess I slept in.
You got a relaxing, 14 hours of sleep? Whew.
Yeah, Jesus, I guess it's 6?
6:45.
Whoops.
Don't worry.
A lot less getting it thought. I mean, I can tell you that I did log on Grindr a few times while I was there, and did get hit on by a few people that were staying at the resort. So, a little more gay than you'd think.
Worry about it. That hike puts everyone out of commission for a day or two. But now that you're up, let me quickly get you acquainted with the job. There's a thing in the middle of your room with a round map on it. Do you see it?
Yo.
Okay, yeah, I see it.
This is the Osborne Firefinder, invented in 1914 by W.B.
Osborne?
You use this to spot, you guessed it, What the fuck?
What is it?
nothing. You use this to... Oh, fuck me!
Good God, language, lady.
Out your west-facing window. Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Fireworks, yo.
Are those fucking fireworks?
Whoa, that's not legal, right?
No.
No.
You need to get down there right now and stop them. Fire danger is through the fucking roof.
Is that really my job?
Your job is whatever I say it is. Look, the closest ranger is like 2 days away. Go down there and set him straight. Do you think you can handle that?
Do I write him a ticket?
Easy there, Dirty Harry.
Well,
Get going. You'll probably need a rope to get down the shale between you and the lake, if I remember right. There should be one in the supply box on the way. The code is 1234. It's actually that for all of them.
Smart.
smart.
Shut up.
Surely easier to remember. It bugs the fuck out of me. Okay. I've had this game open for like the last 2 days, just messing around with whatever the hell I want. Trying my best to make sure that every setting I want, it makes this texture glitch go away so that we can read this journal entry. And it still does the fucking thing that I don't want it to do. Bullshit. I changed nothing from the last time I opened this computer. Anyway, back to this.
Nels, it feels like you on the team did the most sort of digging about what the real job is like, what is in the actual space, and then checked us against reality when we kind of went off the reservation.
I mean, in general, I really like doing research. That's sort of a thing I've enjoyed on all the projects I've worked on. So for this, a bunch of folks on the team read this great book,
I'll take a little look
by
first.
Philip Connors, which is kind of like a memoir-ish.
Thank you,
thing
Donko,
of
by the
this
way.
dude who still is an active fire lookout even today. But I also just I called up the Ministry of Forests and Natural Resources here in British Columbia and got redirected to like 3 increasingly small Ministry of Forest offices until someone just gave me literally the phone number of this cool old lady who had once been a fire lookout. So I just kind of chatted with her for like an hour and a half just about what doing the job was like. The reason why the game is not a simulation of being a fire lookout is because what everyone talks about is that the #1 challenge with the job is that it is incredibly, impossibly boring.
Because you can't like read a book, you can't like be doing other things, right? Like,
Not really.
yeah.
At the end of day 3, where Delilah mentions it's like, Kenny's like, well, what do I do the rest of the summer? She's like, you sit in that chair and you look out the window. That is actually what fire lookouts really do. So all the folks I talked to said like, figuring out ways to combat boredom is the #1 thing. The lady I talked to, she said she did a whole lot of needlepoint and cross stitch because you can do that without looking at your hands very much. Obviously, like, lookouts are also responsible for doing, maintenance on their towers. But again, it's like not maintenance because some crazy Yahoo smashed up your tower. It's maintenance like, oh, the paint is kind of flaking off, better paint it. Or these trees have grown too tall, so I need to chop them down. Not, I'm chopping down trees to form a weird log bridge.
The main takeaway from whenever we would talk to someone who had done this job is, why would you make a game about that? That is the most boring time of my entire life. So hopefully we showed them how.
It feels like people who do this job like fall into 2 camps, right? They're the people who think they can do it and can't hack it and bail after like a month or 2. People like Jack Kerouac who tried to do this and wrote about it in Desolation Angels, and then he went crazy from a lack of cigarettes and then left. Or the people who kind of enjoy the solitude and then figure out ways to deal with it. But we do have like a lot of the window dressing for the stuff people use. Like other folks I talk to, it's like, what do you do? Well, we read a lot of books and we like trade the books between the different lookouts through rangers and stuff like that. So of course Firewatch has a crap ton of weird books in it. Stuff like that.
So now, while this one's gonna be playing, we're gonna try finding our pet turtle. And yes, it does sound like the most relaxing job ever. I can't tell you how much I have looked up the possibility of becoming a Firewatch in today's day and age. I can tell you this much. I couldn't get the exact number, but I'm pretty sure there's less than 10 Firewatches less than 10 Firewatches active in the United States alone. Less than 10 Firewatches that are still active. Yes. Let's find our pet turtle. Now,
Hey, it's Jake again.
And it's Jane again.
This way. I
All right,
think.
let's talk about Two Forks Lookout. I mean, we could just talk about lookout towers in general in
Yes.
video games. Well, you built it. You want to talk about it?
Yes. So lookout towers have standard sizes actually.
We'll start at the tower for another
think
minute, though,
Most of these
because
were
I'm talking
either,
about it.
14 feet by 14 feet in the inside, or something like 7. Like there's actually
Like
a
tiny,
standard.
wow.
Yeah, the cabins have standard sizes, and the ones that you have a bed and stay in are the 14 feet ones. And we realized through a few experiments that if you make a space that's actually 14 feet in the game, it would be too tiny.
Yeah, I remember you found a lookout tower enthusiast website that had posted the actual blueprints that the state parks and forest service used. So we're like, we're doing this.
Yeah.
We're building it to scale.
Yes.
It's
and
tiny. You can't move around.
It's tiny, and then basically the camera just has no room to maneuver at all.
Yeah, and you
Yes,
just feel like
indeed
a
it is.
fat guy, like you can't fit
Yeah.
between your desk and the
Yeah, and it
firefighter.
feels like you're just in a shoebox.
Mhm.
So we did a few experiments. I was like, okay, how about it's twice as big? And when it's twice as big, and it's just like no.
Palatial
Yeah, and
fire
it looks
lookout
wrong.
cribs.
And then like on the outside, the silhouette of the space also looks wrong. So we ended up with I think something like 1.5 size bigger than real life, and it feels like a real fire lookout.
Over the course of the game, as things change, there's a bunch of variants of the tower too, right? I mean, simple stuff like the broken window, but then also we
yes.
move furniture around. Henry gets moved in over the time.
Yeah,
over
there are different
time.
states of the interior, and we achieved that by actually swapping out the whole interior set. Like 7 or 8 times, I think.
A lot of times.
As the game moves on, then more and more of his stuff starts showing up, and then Henry is a slob, and so his like undies are everywhere and all
Window
this
gets
stuff.
broken, window gets fixed,
Exactly.
conspiracy board goes
Uh-huh.
up. Yeah, and dirty socks get all over the place. Just tell the story of some slobby dude up here.
Exactly.
I don't recall him being that slobby, but I also really have not looked at the tower probably as in detail as I probably should be in later days. All right, well, you have a good one, Lamberto. You take it easy, okay? I also love how they like have like a little extra like commentary thing here that's just gonna be inactive and destroyed, just like the impassable rock slide that's here.
Whoa, Delilah, the trail I hiked in on, it's gone.
What is this, the Twilight Zone?
No, there was a rock slide. Is there another path out of the thoroughfare?
Let me think.
Oh my God, I guess I'm lucky I wasn't on it when it happened.
Yeah, for sure. You know, without some impossible mountaineering, there's not really another way out.
So what the hell?
We'll fly you out? I mean, sometimes folks get cut off by fire and we just scoop them up when it's time to go.
Okay.
Don't be nervous.
Maybe I'll just live out here now.
Henry the Hermit.
Maybe I'll find myself a baby bear to keep as a pet and live off the land like Grizzly Adams.
You know, not a baby bear, but a turtle.
Whoa, I found a turtle. Maybe it's a tortoise. It's a thing with a shell.
Well, isn't that something?
It's actually pretty cute.
Well, Henry, if you decide you want it to keep you company, nobody'll mind.
Now, what do I call it? Looks like a...
Our options are Turt Reynolds, Shelley Duvall, Bucket Jr. It's a secret. We're gonna go with Turt Reynolds.
Turt Reynolds.
Well, now I can't wait to see him.
The mustache is impressive.
You tell him I love Cannonball Run.
Never watched Cannonball Run. But Turt Reynolds is just nice. Alright, now there's nothing over there I know, so up this way. I know we're definitely not going to get all the director commentary tapes while we're not using the compass or the map. That's alright. Alright, now we got to move in the direction of the plot, which is if south takes us over to the river, then we need to go north, up in this direction more. think we're getting it right. Oh. Let's see if I can I look at Delilah's tower? Delilah's tower. There.
Hey, I can see your tower.
Yep, that's me. Bye.
Hi there, it's Jake.
And Chris again.
Hey, so here we are in the cache box clearing, or at least I guess that's what we call it. There's a lot of cache boxes in Firewatch, but this was the first one that we placed into the game.
For a long time, this was the cache box.
It was the cache box, even though we knew we wanted to have more. This area was actually one of the first areas that we built out to any degree that looks like a piece of the world. It was a really good proving ground for us. Like when me and Nels Anderson were grayboxing the world at the very beginning, we tried a million different things, like maybe this was on the edge of a cliff, or maybe it was a secret that you had to find. And I think it was Sean who suggested that he really wanted it to feel like a warm, sort of enclosed space, like you stumbled onto a little glen and you want to stay there for a while, which I think makes sense because we wanted people to actually stop and poke around and have it not feel like the woods.
This was an area with a lot of firsts. I remember this really ended up looking a lot like Ollie's concept art in a way I think that felt like an accomplishment when it all got built out. It was also the first audio I implemented in the entire game, I believe.
The Foley on the locks and the lid?
Right, exactly.
Oh, this was, man, this was also, the cache box was also our proving ground for detailed object interaction with Henry animating the lock. And also, there's an exit out if you back up and turn left. That was the first time I prototyped one-way drops and also any like sort of secret paths, because the way that you cross the canyon also showed up here, and I didn't tell anyone on the team about it for like months, and people only noticed it once they started playing the back half of the game, and it was very fulfilling for me.
Nice.
Cache box.
Cache box, land of firsts and secrets.
That's the state flag of cache boxes.
There's something I like about this cache box in particular more than the others.
So are there a lot of these out in the woods?
Yeah, we got them all over the Shoshone. It saved us a lot of back and forth from the trailhead. Don't take all the good stuff.
Yeah, all right.
The thing I like about this cache box is it's gonna say boob. Right there. I don't know if the kids, well, not the kids, but like I should say that, like if the youth know about the old school way of spelling boob this way. But it makes the more immature parts of me smile. Should we even copy the info? Yeah, let's not even worry about it. Let's not even do it. Alright, do we dare go into the details of Ron and Dave? Why not? Yeah, because they're basically lovers. Ron, hey man, couldn't take it, so I locked up his lookout. Oh, wait, sorry. Hey man, guy couldn't take it, so yeah, just, hold on. This is better. Guy couldn't take it, so I locked up his lookout and put some stuff in the box. Found one of those bars you liked, hiking into the park, but let's get fucked when I'm back. Yeah, they are definitely into each other.
Hey, there's a snack in here. Probably gonna eat it.
You definitely do not want to do that. Whatever's in there has been in there for years. That's how you get food poisoning.
Eat it.
I tracked down that rope. It was right where you said.
Great. So you should be set to get down to the lake.
Alright, do I dare go to the medicine wheel? Why not? Let's go to the medicine wheel. I never understood the medicine wheel. Even, like, it's supposed to be like an agent thing or something. I don't get how it works. What's the description for it again?
Wow, there's an old, I think it's called a medicine wheel out here.
Yeah, it was made by Crow American Indians hundreds of years ago. There are lots of small ones. Have you ever been to Medicine Wheel Monument over in the Bighorns?
No, I sure hadn't.
Well, it's worth a 3-hour detour on the way home in August.
Neat. I'll keep it in mind.
Oh. I have never seen this before. Is that a butterfly? Neat. God, I wish I had the camera. Let's come back and take a picture of that later.
The radio went on a real evolutionary journey. I don't know if you remember back at the very beginning when we all got together to make the game. We got together in December, like the first week of December, and we said, well, we're definitely going to take Christmas break, but what can we make in 2 weeks with this crew in Unity, an engine we've never used before? And we started just starting with the radio mechanic, and I quickly wrote like a mystery about an FBI agent looking for a kidnapper in the woods, and then you had like a dispatcher who was like, go to this place and look for this. Oh, I think he left. And I think that's when we sort of proved out that looking at things and pointing at them the way you would like in a shooter, but then getting options to talk about them was the thing we were gonna do.
That's kind of where the radio mechanic is so different from most conversation systems in games, right? Because most game conversation systems like, oh, you're standing next to this guy, so you can talk to him now and you will be able to talk about things that have recently happened to you. But since it's a radio, it's like you could be anywhere, anytime, talking about whatever you're looking at. So even as we started to like do that initial prototyping, we sort of realized like, oh, that's very interesting. Also, this is really complicated and very different from how most games do dialogue.
Yeah, when you're standing in front of a character, you just sort of have the like very like binary rule of I am standing in front of a character in an adventure game, I can talk. I walk away, I can't. When you change that up and you can talk about things wherever because the proximity to that character is no longer relevant, you start to find really weird cases. Like, what do you do when you want to talk about an idea or a sound you just heard, a smell? So then we had to sort of like bring the radio mechanic into the realm of like the intangible. And I don't think that really came on until much later.
Yeah, we got like, I think during that prototype we got the very initial vestiges of it, but in that initial prototype it was so simple where it's like, oh, if you're looking at this weird stone head, you can like push the one button to play this crappy audio top of "Oh hi Mark" from Tommy Wiseau's The Room, or you can push 2 to say "Oh hi Denny" instead.
That was the darkest time of development for me.
It was the most wonderful time
because that movie gives me real physical illness.
Don't know the movie they're talking about.
Mechanic to 2 lines from The Room. I was in a bad way about that.
I enjoyed it greatly.
I know you did. I know you did.
Yes.
Hey, there's a tree out here that's been ripped to hell.
And?
Don't you think that's, disconcerting?
Henry, there are 500-pound grizzly bears out here. They sharpen their claws on trees.
We don't have grizzlies in Colorado. People killed them a long time ago.
Well, in the thoroughfare, they hunt people, they kill people, they bury their bodies, and then come back weeks later to eat them because they prefer rotten meat. People just disappear.
Don't you think that's disconcerting?
No, Henry, that's life.
Christ, lady.
You know, I've never once... Do bears prefer rotten meat? While bears will scavenge on carcasses and may eat some rotting meat, it's not their preferred food source, and they often eat around the rotten parts. Okay. See, that's what I would have thought. But I mean, olden days, people believe everything that they're told. Definitely going to take care of these fireworks at some point. We're totally not going to burn down.
Jake.
Oh, hey, Sean.
You did a neat thing here in the game that I like a lot, which is when you make a dialogue choice with Delilah about what this this dangerous hill should be called. It shows up on your map.
This one here.
And I like that a lot.
Yeah, when we were putting the map system together, well, actually, the map weirdly was one of the latest things, one of the final things to come into the game as a fully fleshed out piece. But an upside of that is we built the map using a lot of tools we already had. For instance,
The map that we're not gonna
system
open.
that checks which things you haven't talked about, which things you haven't found in the game. Use the same variable list as our speech system. So when I was putting this together, I realized, oh, not only can I put a mark down on the map when Henry finds it or talks about it, but I can totally look at the same tools we use for dialogue and figure out what the player said and put it on the map. And the end result felt really natural. I actually wish we'd gone a little deeper on it in the game, but I'm really happy with what's in there right now.
It would have been cool if
Also,
they could have
please
done more.
name this shitty boss is going to get me killed, because that's objectively the best name for the hill.
Is that your handwriting?
Yeah, you gotta cram that in there, but it's still readable.
I shall do what he says.
This shale slide is steep. How do you expect me to get down this?
I don't remember it being that bad. It's not even named on our topos.
What about shitty boss is gonna get me killed hill?
Oh, is that Absorka Indian? Maybe Creek?
That's actually English for not in my job description.
Alright, let's do it. Let's go not get killed. And snap.
No!
Played it a lot. Played it a lot.
Hey,
What the hell's wrong with you?
my shitty boss almost got me killed.
Ah. Come back. Come back.
First, your boss is a delight. Secondly, Jesus,
She's a delight.
what exactly happened?
My rope snapped coming down the shale slide.
You didn't break anything, did you?
No, I think I'll make it.
Be careful, for Christ's sake.
Nothing there at that one.
Hey, there's a tie-off point off here just a little away from the shale slide.
Well, you ready to get back on that horse, huh?
I can't go any further is what I'm saying.
That heads south down to the creek, but you should be able to get to the lake just by continuing west. Without any, mountaineering.
All right.
It's a long summer. You can explore later.
Wow, there's a big rock outcropping down here near the lake. It's really something.
Yeah, makes for good camping. There used to be a group of guys who would boulder out there a couple times a year.
What happened to him?
Dunno? Just stopped coming out.
Don't know. Just stop coming out. Ordinarily, these signs aren't here during the usual game, but developers.
Hi, this is Ollie Moss, and I was the art director on Firewatch.
I'm Jane.
Hi, Jane.
Let's talk about this teen
Let's talk
party
about this.
zone.
Let's talk about the teen
Oh
zone.
yeah, the teens are coming up next.
So the teen zone is one of the first areas that we used as a sort of art test to see how we would go about building the rest of the game.
We knew from the pretty early on that, on day one, you will start from the tower and you will have to head down to the lake, and somewhere in between, you will see some teens and they're partying. And so we call this the teen zone because this is where all the teen stuff is.
Yeah, and it was important to us that the reveal that it was a group of teens was communicated through the level design. So the idea was that you just kind of walk through some trees and burst out into this scene where a campfire was still burning.
And you had a pretty strong idea of what you wanted to look like.
Yeah, I just wanted to put some big angular rocks in there, which is basically my modus operandi for the entire game. But we wanted to have a big angular sort of rock, which became known as Pride Rock because it looked so much like the rock from the Lion
No,
King.
we did name that Pride Rock, didn't we? That rock does serve as a very strong landmark pretty early in the game, and it kind of does point the player in the right direction.
Exactly. Should we talk a little bit about our process for designing these areas?
So in the beginning, when we just have like no concept art. We will just mock it out with just gray, literally just gray boxes and a gray terrain, and then we will take screenshots and give it to Ollie to be like, please pretty this up, Ollie.
Oh well, first of all, I'll do a terrible garbage sketch and pitch it to the team, and if people like the gist of it, then we'll go away and do a bit more of a detailed drawing, and then you would go.
Yeah, we'll add in some more shapes, and then we just keep
Firewatch A. Let's dive into this inferno of creativity.
Dude, I love this game. 77 months for one. You always amaze me with that fucking shit, Silocat. So you played this game before. This is a big comfort game for me. And I did not get an eyebrow bar, Joey. I got a loop now. But I do got some bars.
Forth with paint overs from Ollie.
And then it's just a sort of tennis, really, just back and forth between the two of us until everyone's happy with what we have.
Yeah.
The developer commentary is my favorite part of this game because I love listening to game devs gush about why they made the decisions to make that they made in their games. Don't know if you've done that. Definitely worth doing. There's a raccoon over here. Tail on the back of your... Is that a tail on the back of my head? Wow. Bars. I mean, the bar that was talked about was the one for my eye. The tail on the back of my head. I don't know what you're talking about. My hair? Oh! I mean, I can. Yeah. Just long enough that it's been able to mostly stay up. You ended up cutting yours? No! Sometimes things must change, right? What made you want to cut it? What made that decision happen? Sometimes it just must be done, and sometimes it has to be. Raccoon. Pears. Wait.
There's a critter out here.
I forgot.
A raccoon.
I can't understand you.
Because I'm whispering.
Because you're whispering. Pears! Yes!
Are you okay? You didn't just have a stroke, did you?
No!
Do you smell burnt toast?
No.
Then what then?
I'm doing a crossword and I figured out the theme. It's homonyms. Pears. The clue was couples peeling fruit. Anyway, hope you're having a good afternoon.
Thanks.
I wouldn't have gotten the pears, like the cutting fruit part. That would have had me stumped for like ever. Sure, then a skill. You see, I got some of the recediness, but my bald spot on the top of the head, way less obvious when you have a bun on it.
Finding a bunch of empty beer cans. They threw them all over hell.
The idiots down at the lake?
Yeah, them. Just found where they're hanging out. What do you know? People with shitty manners drink shitty beer.
What, you don't like a cold Musqualite on a hot day?
No, I do. But then again, I didn't say my manners were any good. Better than these fucking litter bugs, though, that's for sure.
We will clean up. Well, actually,
You know what? Fuck it, I'm not the maid.
I love that line. I love that they added that line. Just in case you want to just not give a shit.
They left half a bottle of whiskey. Decent stuff.
Drunk pyromaniacs. Fucking great.
look, they decided to have a campfire too.
You know, they color-coded the fire danger signs in case people were illiterate. But I guess that doesn't take into account just plain stupid, does it?
Like leave it at 2 stomps at least.
Well, I put out their fire.
Man, I would have named that forest fire something good, too.
Hey, I can always restart it.
No. I think your first instinct was the right one.
They left their packs tied up here.
Don't fuck with them. The last thing we need is some hikers filing a report about harassment.
Found the fireworks. They didn't even try to hide them.
Well, confiscate them.
Never looked at these in detail. Magic missile. Screaming wife. Ooh. What is that one? Dre or Ray. Feel? The other one's just like bam. It's like magic missile and bam. And then we got 2 sexy ones.
Well, they left their clothes out to dry. It looks like 2 people. What if they're naked?
Won't that be exciting? Look, they're obviously still there, so tell them off and then head back.
Well, hello, Insta. Thank you for following on TikTok. How's it going? How's your day? What you up to? Floating leaf. Oh, there's a block here. Okay.
I found a bra.
A nudie pyromaniac. Remain professional.
We're not going to examine.
There are panties.
There are what?
I don't want to say that word again.
Why, 'cause you're 12?
There's a... Ooh.
Yes?
There are 2 naked ladies out here.
Can you handle that?
Come on, I like naked ladies, same as anyone, but there's, you know...
2?
Yeah.
2.
I know this will be tough for you, but try to pick your tongue up off the ground and do your job.
Okay.
All right, let's see. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do this one, but we'll see how it goes.
I found them.
Skinny dipping.
Yeah.
That a guy over there?
Oh boy. Enjoy dealing with that.
All right. Let's.
You gotta take it easy with the fireworks, all right?
You ought to take it easy at the Sizzler buffet.
Ouch.
What? He's just some loser out in the woods. I mean, he's corroding you.
Took all of your stuff. Fireworks, whiskey, you name it.
What? You did!
Also, setting off fireworks out here isn't just stupid, it's illegal.
Yeah, so is stealing, asshole. That's so fucking bogus. You're gonna pay for that. Can we just get out of here?
Do I want to be a dick?
You're gross. You're just... Oh, hey, put that down. Seriously, it was expensive.
Fucking cool it with the fireworks.
Please just
Just
put it down.
extra
Don't
insurance.
fight anymore. You probably have a tiny dick.
Oh.
Thank you. Now leave us alone. You're a creep.
No.
Total creep.
Fuck off.
Get a girlfriend. You asshole.
Light another firework and it won't be your stereo I wreck.
Oh, fuck you, psycho. Yeah, fuck you. You'll fucking pay for it. You can't just harass girls in the woods. Let's get out of here.
I really want the asshole route.
Hey, that go okay?
I might have got a little hot.
What's a little hot?
some of their personal property took a swim?
Ugh,
Well, I can't do anything about it now.
nope. Thanks for dealing with him, though. Seriously.
No problem.
I mean, it could have been worse. It could have been worse. And they are really like stuck-up teens. They like, fuck them. They get worse.
My name is Patrick Ewing.
Even if you're nice, they're just bad.
I worked on
And you should.
tools and gameplay programming.
The teens, Patrick.
Let's open some old wounds here.
This is like going back to like an old battleground and being like on these
Exactly.
hollowed grounds.
Yeah, I
Bad
died on
things
this hill.
happened. I died on this hill.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the most complex interactions in the game, if not the most, right?
Yeah.
And it was in the game from the very first vertical slice we did, and then I think we kind of added to it as we played through it and saw like, oh, we should be able to throw the boombox in the lake, obviously, right? Okay, the teens need to react to the boombox being in the lake. Oh, but then they should also react to you putting it down.
What you should do if you're making a video game is build relatively ironclad, predictable AI and systems that react to inputs. But instead, we built a series of relatively flimsy state machines that were like, if this, but not when, and also if.
Right.
And we're able to create this scene as designed. And Patrick was sort of the shepherd of this scene. So whenever anything would break, if you were to...
You know, sometimes I just spent a minute trying to type 4 letters on my fucking phone. Sometimes life is just hard.
throw the boombox and the teens were not to respond, or you leave with the boombox and they would talk about something else. It was Patrick's job to ferret into the
I have yet to leave with the boombox. That's what I got to do sometime.
Right.
state machine and
Right.
figure out what was going on.
Yeah, and I'm happy with how it turned out. There are so many different ways that this scene can play out now, depending on what you choose to do. Do you throw the fireworks at them? Do you talk to them and then start messing up their stuff and throwing it in? And it ends up being pretty like believable. They feel like real characters. It's just such a crazy spaghetti code in the back end that I'm always terrified when I see someone play through it, that there's some interaction that we didn't think about.
Right
Yeah.
now, the player is interacting with the teens in a way that is completely not by the book. And
I mean, luckily we
beads of
haven't.
sweat are building on your brow.
Yeah, I think it's just a PTSD response at this point. We would see the bug reports if this was actually still breakable.
Yeah.
Well, this lake does seem like a good spot to swim, even if the last people to do so were assholes.
Yeah, right now though, it's all snow melt, so you'll freeze your balls off. But as hot as it's been, maybe that's a fair trade.
Starting to feel like it.
And grow better fingers. You know, you grow better. Fuck off. Note. Ron, got some bad news back at home, so hopefully they'll let me out of here for a while. Who's to say, though, budgets being what they are? Did you get my note about what went down in Wapiti? Sheriff isn't too pleased with me, but I don't know. I probably overdid it. I wish you would have been there. I guess you must have got hung up. Dave. P.S. Amigos in Spanish is professionales in Italian. Amigos in Spanish is profession, and amigos is Spanish, and professionales is Italian. Okay, I don't know why that took me so long to process. Also, I find this little interaction just interesting.
I found a sweatshirt from the University of Eastern Colorado.
There's a University of Eastern Colorado?
I really don't think there is.
Why would somebody make that up?
Right, and then put it on a sweatshirt.
The world's a weird place.
Just the thought of this existing in, like, 1987. I love this kind of... I love this kind of fuckery. That kind of fuckery with people's heads. And I love this game, too, it's great.
Any chance of those kids getting a disease in this lake, like diphtheria or consumption or...
Consumption.
Not if they're not 19th century chimney sweeps, no.
You know, whatever.
I mean, if they drank a bunch, Giardia maybe, but probably not this time of year.
That's too bad.
Alright, we will save here for now. We've cut out a good hour, and I want to try like fully starting and finishing this tomorrow. That is what we shall do. What we shall do. Till then, good night. Sleep tight. And something about bedbugs biting.